Hello, everyone. Welcome to Wisdom Wednesdays. The news these days has been just heartbreaking. It's been very hard for me and most of the people that I'm connected with to stay positive and to feel to feel happy in these times when children are being ripped away from their parents and sent goodness knows where, and there's no certainty that they'll ever be reunited with their parents. This causes lifelong trauma to children, and the fact that our government is doing this is just so unbelievable. So I am going to go into my oracle space this morning and just bring through a message from Spirit about these times. And knowing my guides, I expect that it will be very, very helpful and help to shift the perspective towards something a little more positive. So we begin, as always, by grounding and centering. So I invite you to just close your eyes and connect with breath first. As always, our breath is our best number one place to go, to calm ourselves, to center ourselves. It literally shifts us from the sympathetic fight or flight nervous system into the parasympathetic calming nervous system. And breathing is one of the functions that's both automatic and under our conscious control. So when we consciously slow and deepen our breath, it always helps us to calm and center. So deliberately slowing and deepening the breath, feeling that diaphragm move down into the belly, softening the belly so that the diaphragm can move further. And feeling that whole area, that third chakra area, the solar plexus, soften and begin to relax and let go. And as we continue this deep breath, I invite us all to bring our awareness to our feet and create our imaginal grounding trunk, to send it down into Mother Earth with her permission. And see that in your mind's eye, in this imaginal realm, with our intuition, extending down through all the layers of earth and rock and water and fire to the very center of Mother Earth, to the molten iron crystal there, and see our grounding trunk wrap around that 3 times. And then see in your mind's eye and feel in your energy systems that golden nurturing earth energy rising up, the grounding trunk coming in through the soles of our feet, rising up through our bodies and fountaining out the tops of our heads to create a beautiful golden bubble all around us, at least 3 feet in all directions. And when I do this grounding and connecting with Mother Earth, I always immediately feel better. I feel better right now. So Mother Earth's perspective is so much longer than our short human lives. So receive this energy from Divine Mother Earth as nourishing and protective, and grounding and centering and healing. And now I invite us all to bring our awareness to the center of all creation out in the universe, which you can think of as the central sun or as the cosmic womb of Divine Mother, and drawing a crystalline golden white light from there, bringing it through our soul stars, adding energy as it does so, bringing it through our sun, adding more energy, and then seeing and feeling that crystalline golden white light coming down through our upper chakras, through our bodies, flowing down our legs and out the bottoms of our feet to spiral through the earth energy, creating a beautiful now crystalline golden bubble of combined Divine Mother energy from above and from below. And this is the very energy of creation. So feel this as nourishing, healing, and protective. And now I invite us all to allow that also to wash away things that aren't serving. So allow some of this golden light to go back down into earth, wash through our bodies and energy systems, taking with it what isn't serving us right now. Thought forms that aren't serving, old habits and patterns that aren't serving, emotions that are still running strongly. Let's let them flow down out the bottoms of our feet, down into Mother Earth to be transmuted. And give her gratitude and thanks for doing this for us today. And I call on our highest level guides and helpful ancestors to be with us and to work together for the highest good of all. And I ask that the information that comes through during this oracle transmission today be what is right and true and appropriate for those watching now and listening later and watching later. So I ask what message our guides have for us in these times. What help do they have for us for these heartbreaking issues that we're dealing with? Continue to breathe, be aware of the breath, soften and deepen. So the message is, this is the collective shadow. This is the collective shadow of humanity, which is being raised into our view very strongly so that it can be healed, so that we can actually work with it and do something about it. So they are reminding me that anytime we're working with shadow as humans, if we push down our own shadow, the parts of ourselves that we don't like, the parts of ourselves that we're ashamed of or that we've been taught to be ashamed of, then we ignore that, then that shadow actually can run us. And that this is what's happening on the larger scale in the culture. This is the collective shadow that we're being forced to look at, or we're being forced to see. And those who are following and doing these policies in the halls of power, not just in this country, but around the world, are not acknowledging or working with their own shadow. And so this is a time, dear ones, to do exquisite self-care as the collective shadow is being brought into view. It is important not to ignore it. So there are many and many of us who want to just not watch the news at all and stay in our own little bubble. This is not what these times are about. These times are making us actually look at these aspects of humanity, these ways in which we as humans can stuff things down, ignore our own shadow, can rationalize, can put things out of view, can convince ourselves that it's all okay. And it's not. It's actually not. Things are not all right now. And so the collective shadow is being put right in our faces so that we can actually engage with the collective human shadow and do our work to actually heal and to heal and to shift. So shifting our own perceptions, doing our own deep healing is even more important, and bringing love to the process is the most important. And this doesn't mean, they're saying this doesn't mean that you have to excuse ignore the shadow in its collective negative results. This doesn't mean that. It means seeing that and still being in love. Taking actions, they're saying action is called for in these times. Doing our own healing work is still crucially important, and taking action of some kind in the world to help heal this collective shadow is extremely important for all of us on the spiritual path. And that, so I'm also receiving that much of the teaching in the spiritual world has led those of us on a spiritual path to separate ourselves from things like politics and things like taking action in the world, and that the level of shadow that is up to be healed requires our participation now. They're saying it is no longer adequate to only do our own spiritual work, that the idea of looking to the light, always looking to the light, the teaching about ascension, we're here on this karmic path and we come back lifetime to lifetime, and once we've learned all our lessons, then we'll leave the planet. This is a teaching that has aspects of truth to it. However, it has led many upon many to ignore their responsibility to this world that we live in, to this planet that is our home. And we are of the planet and we are of the stars. So they're reminding us we are not simply beings of spirit, we are also these beings of flesh and blood and earth. We have elements of earth within us as well as we have elements of stars. So they would also they are also asking that we see more from our hearts and less from our minds. That our culture has given us this belief in mind and brain as the place from which all comes. And our heart has its own intelligence. It is crucially important in these times to be in that heart intelligence. And that many of the answers to the questions we are asking at these times will be found here in the heart, in the intelligence of the heart, and not in the brain. And what about the gut? Our gut intelligence too. Yes, they're saying. So recognize more deeply the wholeness that we are. We are not just functioning from a brain. All of these aspects of self have roles to play, and that our heart intelligence, our gut intelligence are important in these times, and that the more we integrate these, the more we will find the actions that are right, true, and appropriate for each of us in these times. So, and they're also saying, dear ones, there are more and more of you waking up, aligning yourselves fully in these ways, and taking action. There are more and more of you in groups doing this work to shift the perspective, to shift the conversation, to shift the culture on the planet, to be aware that you are not alone. We are not alone. There are so many of us. We are only not in the news in the most part. We are, okay, so they are showing me that would be useful for us to do a process to align ourselves with our gut, heart, and brain, and then to connect energetically with all those on the planet who are doing this work of creating the positive change that we need in these times. So they are reminding us that it is happening, and it is important to continue to face and work with our own shadow parts to integrate, heal, and align them within ourselves. And that's some of the work that we do in the Wise Woman Immersion program that I do with my private clients. It's very valuable. I do it for myself on an ongoing basis. And that we also need to work with this collective shadow of humanity. So here we go into this process of aligning our gut, heart, and brain intelligence. It will help to carry us forward. So I would invite us all to see a golden thread, a figure 8 of light that is going to come from the third eye into the heart, out the back of the heart, in through the back of the gut, out the front of the gut, into the heart, out the back, and in through the third eye. So see this figure 8 of golden light circulating through these 3 areas, and know and intend that this is aligning and harmonizing these centers of intelligence in our bodies, human and divine. See that figure 8 running, and continue to intend that this is aligning these areas of intelligence, that this is creating a unified field for us, that we don't have to be just in our mind, in our brain, or just in our heart, or just in our gut. They all need to work together so that we can work for the highest good, and so that we can come from this aligned place with love as we do our work on ourselves and in the world. So seeing this figure 8, aligning within ourselves. And now, as these are aligned within each of us, I invite us now to bring our awareness to our heart, which is connected now fully with our gut and our brain. And now on the planet who are doing work to change the culture from dominator to partnership, to change the culture from the old systems of violence and fear, controlling through fear and violence, to the systems of cooperation and holding power with others instead of power over. See a thread, a golden thread connecting all of our hearts, all around the planet. And notice how many of us there are. There are thousands upon thousands upon thousands of us in every country, on every continent of this planet. See the golden thread connecting all of us together, and receive that understanding and knowledge of how many of us there are who are doing this work to create this positive change. Receive that understanding, receive that connection in your own heart, and see that beautiful, beautiful golden connection, like a web of light across the planet. Do not despair, they're saying. The times are difficult and intense, and this is creating the change. First, there is destruction of the old, and then there is space for the new. And this is one of the functions of the dark goddess. Think of Kali. It's about bringing up, taking and tearing down, and then the new will have the space to come in. And as we hold this heart connection, as we spread this throughout the planet, all of us who are working on this are coming more and more into our strength, into our power with integrity, and it will be done. It will be so. And so it is. I give thanks to my circle of guides and to the connection. I give great gratitude and thanks to all on this planet who are doing this work and holding this energy for everyone. I'm Ariana Newcomer, Dove Oracle Priestess. Thank you very much for being with me. Come back next week for Wisdom Wednesdays. If there's a topic that you would like me to speak on, channel on, pop me a message here on Healing the Soul's Voice. And if it's appropriate, of wide interest, I will be happy to do a message on it. Thanks so much.